Hey there, how's it going? This is Willemstad, the capital and main city of the Caribbean island of Curacao, very close to Venezuela. I was previously on the island of Aruba, and then flew here, and then am going next in a few days to Bonaire. And so if you want to see some videos from this area, then look at the link down below here, or I will put some links at the end of this video. Definitely some very interesting abandoned houses along here. So it should be a very revealing walk as I just kind of explore randomly. I'm going to head out this way and just show whichever parts of the city that I come across in the course of this video. And so I'm going to talk about in this video, how the hell do I afford to travel so much? I've been traveling for 30 years now. I've been to 63 countries. I've been to India 9 times. I've been to Greece 6 times. I've been to Thailand 5 times. I've done a lot of traveling, and the good question is, how the heck do I afford it all? So I wanted to start this off with a couple of stories that will make a point. So in November of 2015, almost 4 years ago, that I was in Ecuador, and I had $50 to my name. I had nothing in my bank account. I had a flight booked out of Bogota like 10 days later, and I had my YouTube check, which at the time was going to be like $1,000 or something, coming a few days later. And so that is how close I was cutting it, is that I barely had enough money on me to get through the next couple of days, to barely get to my paycheck and then keep on traveling. 8 months later, in August of 2016, I was in a similar position in Spain. I was waiting for my YouTube paycheck to go through so that I could purchase a bus ticket to get me to the next town. If the money wasn't deposited in my bank account that morning, then I was gonna have to wait another day just to be able to buy like a $20 bus ticket to the next town that I was planning to go to in Spain. And so it was the same kind of situation then, that I just had barely enough to get to that next paycheck. And so my point is that, no, I'm not independently wealthy. I don't have parents paying for this. I have paid for all of my travels myself for the past 30 years. All of it has all been paid for myself. A cute little bridge here. Whoa, some jumping fish. Cool. And this is where a market happens sometimes. Today is a Sunday, and so things are especially quiet around town. But it was even very quiet last night on a Saturday night, so it's just not all that busy, at least in this area here. And so this is the 4th video that I've made with the same title in different places. The first one was in Mexico, the second one was in California, the third one was a year ago in Mykonos, Greece. And thought that I would make another one because things change over time, and also I have new subscribers who don't know the backstory. And that is really the #1 question that people have, is how do I afford to pay for all this traveling? So as I talked about in previous videos, then in my early years of traveling, then I just worked random jobs and saved up the money and then traveled super cheap. That is one of the reasons that I went to India so many times, plus the fact that there is just so much to see there. I would like to go back again. But India is very cheap, and so you can save a few $1,000s and go there and travel for months on very little money. I did a lot of camping, backpacking, both in the US, and then like camping, bicycling trips in Greece. And so that is one way to travel cheap, is just to kind of go to the extremes of hitchhike and stay with friends, or use couch surfing, camp, find beaches or whatever that camp on for free. I did a couple of bicycle trips in Greece, but that was more the case in the first like 20 to 25 years of my traveling. The extreme budget, if you you've been following my videos for the past few years, you've seen that I've ramped things up a little bit, and I'm not on the extremely tight budget that I was on before. I can afford private rooms and going to decent restaurants and taking trains and whatnot, and I've been doing it for a long time. I haven't had a regular job since the fall of 2014 when I was working in Jasper National Park. And so that is one of the answers to how I've managed to pay for some of my travels, is working at national parks. I worked at Denali National Park for 4 different summers, and I worked in Jasper National Park in Canada for 5 different seasons. And in that situation, then you don't have many expenses. You are making more than your housing and your food, and so you can save up some cash. And so the short answer is simply that I have paid for my traveling by working, saving the money, and then going to travel. And that's just what you got to do, unless you're rich or whatever, have a trust fund, something like that. Then otherwise you have to make some money. You're going to need money to travel, and there are lots of different ways to do it. And so you just have to find a job that pays more than your expenses and make it a priority to save the money instead of spending it on unnecessary things, and just try to save the cash. And so there's another element as far as how I personally am able to travel as much as I do, which is that I don't have an apartment or a house or a car or other expenses back home in the US where I'm from. I have very minimal bills as far as on top of my traveling expenses. And so I'm not spending traveling money in addition to my expenses back home. My expenses are just traveling, and so I don't have like the double expenditure that a lot of people would have of paying for their apartment and whatever other expenses they have back home, and then trying to travel on top of that. But really what it comes down to is the ultimate answer as to why exactly I'm able to keep traveling as much as I have been for the past number of years. I haven't worked a regular job since fall of 2014, so almost 5 years of constant non-stop traveling, other than 1 month of working in Alaska washing dishes back summer of 2017. So 1 month of regular work in 5 years of traveling. And the answer is, you're watching it, YouTube. It's that simple. That I started posting the YouTube videos 6, 7, 8 years ago, very casually, not taking it very seriously. Started taking it more seriously over the next few years, and eventually it started to pay like a little bit of my travel expenses, and it's just been steadily increasing ever since then. And it's finally gotten to the point where it is paying for my travels fully. And as you can see just by watching my videos, then it's gotten to the point where I don't have to stay in the hostels every night. Sometimes I do, sometimes I get private rooms, sometimes I get fairly expensive private rooms, or at least expensive for me. And so YouTube has just turned into my full-time job, and I can just keep on traveling, keep on making the videos, and I'm seeing a steady increase in my overall monthly views, and thus my paychecks. And I get more views than you might realize, just because of the kind of content that I'm posting tends to get long-term views, or at least some of the videos do. Enough of them that I get a lot of views every day, whether or not I post a video, around like 50 to 70,000 views every day. You can check on socialblade.com to see the stats of various YouTubers, and if you want to like compare my number of views, or just if you're curious to see how many views and how many subscribers and everything that people are getting, and then you can see that I'm actually getting more views than some other YouTubers who have more subscribers than me. And so I've just developed this sort of a backlog of videos that keep getting views for months, even years, and that results in income and passive income, so that I don't even have to post a video necessarily for that day to still make a decent, you know, daily wage. And so most of my income comes from the YouTube ad revenue. YouTube puts ads on videos controlled by Google, and YouTubers make money that way. I also make a little money from the various links down below the video here, from affiliate links and the books and the t-shirts, stuff like that. But most of my income is just coming from the YouTube ad revenue, and that pays for me to travel. So that is the answer. It's working, and I'm gonna stick with it. So there you go, more coming from Curacao, next Bonaire, after that flying to a new country. It'll be my 64th. All right, see ya.